Her beauty, though not quite as stunning as Mu Bingmei's, was still quite striking. She stood there, draped in purple robes, flowing like an ethereal fairy. The paleness of her complexion only added to her allure, giving her an impression of fragility yet strength. Zixiao. After locking eyes with Wang Lin, the woman in purple spoke coldly after a long silence, as if her voice had not been used for a long time, making her words slightly awkward. Could it be the Flash Realm, Zixiao the Immortal Empress? Wang Lin, having guessed her identity, cupped his fists toward her. Hand over the immortal consort you sealed and suppressed. Zixiao's voice was cold after a brief silence. Wang Lin's expression remained unchanged, but his eyes flickered slightly. He squinted at the woman in purple, a glimmer of coldness flashing in his gaze. Which consort of the immortal venerable are you? Wang Lin asked boldly. At his words, Zixiao's gaze narrowed, her eyes locking onto him with a frosty stare. After a long pause, she finally spoke. The 8th consort of the immortal venerable, Zixiao. And the one I killed, which consort was she? Wang Lin asked, his tone calm. The one you killed was the 2nd consort, and the one you sealed was the 5th consort. The one who escaped was the 6th consort. Zixiao's voice flowed smoothly now, though the coldness in it remained unwavering. Wang Lin's gaze flickered. Among the 8 consorts of the immortal venerable, he had already encountered most of them, and now, he had an outline of all 8 in his mind. The 4th consort was the seductive fox spirit woman who had attempted to control to a son, but she was trapped in the ancient burial ground and unable to leave. The 3rd consort, who had some interaction with Wang Lin, was released from the ancient burial ground by him and did not participate in the battle within the realm. As for the 2nd consort, this woman had the most connections to the outer realm, and from the clues in her words, it seemed she had some kind of alliance with the Palm Sovereign. Now, she had died by Wang Lin's hand. The 5th consort, whom he had suppressed in the Celestial Emperor Furnace, remained unable to be fully refined. If what Zixiao said was true, then the fleeing immortal consort was the 6th consort. This meant that only the 1st and 7th consorts of the immortal venerable remained, neither of whom Wang Lin had yet encountered. The woman from the crack world in the 9th stage Cloud Sea Star domain, the one with whom I had an agreement. She is likely also one of the immortal consorts, but I don't know if she is the 1st or 7th consort. A fleeting thought crossed Wang Lin's mind. The 5th consort you've sealed has great use for me. Hand her over. Zixiao spoke coldly, her tone commanding, as though accustomed to being in a high position, even on the immortal firmament continent, where she was considered a genius. She unconsciously spoke to everyone as if they were beneath her. Wang Lin frowned. Considering her long-standing efforts for the realm, he hesitated briefly before preparing to hand over the 5th consort. But just as he was about to act, Zixiao spoke again. Also, you need to go to the outer realm and capture the other immortal consorts and bring them to me. They are of great use to me. You must act swiftly. As for guarding this place for 3 years, there's really no need. Once the immortal venerable. Her voice was cold, as if issuing an order, but before she could finish, Wang Lin's frown deepened, and his eyes glinted sharply. Enough. Wang Lin's cold voice interrupted her. Your demands are over the line. Impudent. Do you know who I am? How dare you speak to me like this? All you've done is for the sake of awakening the immortal venerable and gaining some fortune. You'll do whatever is asked of you, and once the task is done, I will report your benefits to the immortal venerable. Zixiao's eyes glinted with authority as she glared at Wang Lin, her expression darkening. Wang Lin paused for a moment, looking at Zixiao. Suddenly, a cold smile spread across his face. As he smiled, his eyes turned frosty. So that's it. Not all of the immortal venerable's 8 consorts have betrayed him. The 8th consort still remains loyal. But as for your requests, let alone capturing and killing the other immortal consorts, even the 5th consort, whom I have sealed, I cannot give you. I cannot comply. Wang Lin waved his sleeve with a cold smile. At Wang Lin's words, Zixiao's eyes narrowed. She subtly sensed that she might have misunderstood something. She knew little about Wang Lin, only that he was a disciple of the Sealing Venerable, a title that carried much weight, and that he had done many things for the realm, such as the previous decisive battle and killing. From her perspective, everything Wang Lin had done was because of his connection to the Sealing Venerable. The previous Sealing Venerable had designated him, and thus, he should have been informed of everything. Wang Lin was supposed to belong to the Immortal Venerable's side, serving under therefore. After Wang Lin appeared and his cultivation shocked her, she came here to find him and issued a series of orders for him to cooperate and complete them. She never considered that he would refuse. After all, she was the Immortal Venerable's consort, and their goals were the same, to awaken the Immortal Venerable. Once the Immortal Venerable awakened, both of them would gain tremendous benefits. However, Wang Lin's laughter and words of refusal immediately snapped Zixia back to reality. She took several steps back, looking at Wang Lin, and suddenly spoke. Did the previous Sealing Venerable not tell you about the mission of a Sealing Venerable and where they come from? The Immortal Aura Continent, Seven Paths Sect. Naturally, I know of it. Wang Lin coldly gazed at Zixia. If not for her numerous contributions to the inner realm, regardless of her intentions, he would have long since driven her away, ignoring this delirious woman. Upon hearing these words, Zixia's face changed drastically. She instinctively took more than 10 steps back, her expression one of shock. I know everything. You should leave now and never appear before me again. Wang Lin's voice was cold as he looked at the purple-clad woman, waved his sleeve, and spoke. The purple-clad woman, her face pale, stepped back several more steps, her expression constantly changing. Finally, she stared at Wang Lin, gritted her silver teeth, and spoke. Since you know everything, why don't you join forces with me? Together, we can awaken the Immortal Venerable. Once the Immortal Venerable awakens, it will bring great fortune to both of us. On the Immortal Aura Continent, the Immortal Venerable is one of the powerful beings. Once he wakes up, I can ask him to take you as a disciple. That way, you can leave this cave mansion and become a member of the Seven Paths Sect, gaining the status of a cultivator in the Immortal Aura Continent. The Immortal Aura Continent is the real world, far better than this cave mansion. Only by accomplishing this together will the Immortal Venerable possibly grant you cultivation and secure a place for you on the Immortal Aura Continent. At that time, you will gain some fame even there. The Immortal Aura Continent is the true immortal world. Your cultivation will even increase significantly. Wang Lin remained calm, his gaze toward the purple-clad woman indifferent. Her words did not move him in the slightest. The Seven Colors Immortal Venerable's companions are comparable to the 9 sons of the Immortal Aura. One of the powerful beings on the Immortal Aura Continent, laughable at best. He is just a small lord on the Immortal Aura Continent. Even your Seven Paths sect is merely a small sect. You are so eager to awaken him, but it seems there's another hidden agenda. You even know about the 9 sons? Zixia's face changed again, her eyes filled with disbelief. Suddenly, her gaze froze. She recalled Wang Lin's previously drawn bow, the words that the Palm's sovereign had shouted. Get out of here. If not for your contributions to the inner realm, with your Seven Paths sect status, I would never let you go. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with killing intent, his gaze locking onto the purple-clad woman's eyes. The purple-clad woman's mind was in turmoil. Her expression turned chaotic as she retreated, no longer speaking. Instead, she hastily sped away, transforming into a purple streak of light as she quickly departed. 7 Colors Immortal Venerable. I will find a way to awaken him, but not for fortune. It's for the Slaughter Venerable. Once I kill him, this cave mansion will be leaderless. We can seize the path of the heavens and lead the inhabitants of this cave mansion out into the Immortal Aura. My life has been spent defying the heavens, and if I do something, it must be done this way. I refuse to be anyone's lapdog, begging for survival. Even if I end up dying at the Immortal Venerable's hands, I will be a man who fought against the heavens. Wang Lin sneered. He did not speak these words aloud, but let them echo within his heart. His gaze turned toward the direction the purple-clad woman had fled. He did not inquire further about the heavenly coffin matter. That was a question Wang Lin would never ask again. If he left the Immortal Aura Continent, he would find a way to know everything, even resurrect Wanner. But if he ultimately failed, there would be no need for questions. Dying alongside Wanner would be his final act of courage as a man. Turning away and retracting his gaze, Wang Lin looked at the sealed realm grand array, on the brink of collapse. His eyes gleamed with bright light. He stepped forward, approaching the web-like formation, sitting cross-legged before it, closing his eyes. His cultivation began to run, drawing in the power of the starry sky. As Wang Lin inhaled and exhaled, the heavenly energy from the cloud sea, star domain poured in from all directions, merging into his body. It circulated throughout him, absorbed by his primordial spirit, nourishing his physical body and helping the ancient god body to recover significantly. Wang Lin's right hand reached into the void, and several origin light spheres drawn from the karma seal appeared. He crushed them one by one, and the origin power immediately flowed into his 7 orifices, filling his body and merging with his 6 Tao origins. The weight of his origin power increased, slowly circulating once again. After reaching the 3rd step, the heavenly primordial force could only assist the ancient god power, speeding up the recovery of his physical body, but it did nothing to aid his cultivation. To improve cultivation or restore it at the 3rd step, there is only one thing required: the origin. Time passed, and after several hours, Wang Lin suddenly opened his eyes, and an overwhelming pressure surged from within them. With the ceiling formation dead, I will destroy it completely. With my Wang Lin's cultivation, I will rebuild a formation. Having reached the 3rd step, Wang Lin did not rely on devotional power. Instead, he used his insights to perfect the 3 great virtual origins. Through devouring, he brought the thunder and fire true origin to completion. In this way, at the 3rd step, he did not need devotional power. What he needed were the origins that others had already condensed. By devouring endless origins, he could restore and enhance his cultivation. Similarly, since he had no realm of devotional power, there were no ordinary ethereal cultivators within him. By merging the realm of devotional power with himself, he became one with the heavens and earth, achieving perfection. Wang Lin's body was the ancient god's flesh, inherently surpassing all forms of perfection. Therefore, with the assistance of ancient god power, he was able to battle against the early-stage supreme power of the void profound with his ethereal mid-stage cultivation. Even facing a void profound mid-stage expert, Wang Lin dared to fight. The outcome was uncertain, but if anyone wanted to kill him, it would be incredibly difficult. The path Wang Lin took in the 3rd step was completely different from that of any other cultivator. Even the 7 colors immortal venerable followed a different road, though he too required devotional power, except his was poison-free. Wang Lin's path wasn't without precedence, but it was exceedingly difficult. The end of this road was endless and treacherous. If he wanted to become a void profound cultivator, he needed to add a few more origins to his own, and after perfecting them, he could improve further. While others stepping into the 3rd step could never fully achieve their origins, Wang Lin was different. He could acquire the 7th, 8th, 9th, and even the 10th origin. Moreover, because he did not absorb devotional power, his origins did not suffer from the fatal flaw of being unable to complete after the 3rd step. What he needed now was to find or comprehend the 7th origin. Once the 7th origin was perfected, he could reach the late stage of the ethereal realm. If the 8th origin appeared and was perfected, his cultivation would be able to reach the peak of the ethereal realm. When the 9th origin appeared, he would step into the vast void profound realm. Afterward, with the completion of the 9 origins, if he possessed great wisdom and fortune, fusing them together to form a power known as void power, in the immortal firmament continent, he could attempt to face the 3rd step's great tribulation. If he succeeded, he would become the void tribulation supreme. The tribulation between the void tribulation and the void profound is a matter of life and death. Success means life, failure means death. This has been true throughout history, and it's an inevitable chasm that must be faced. This tribulation, known as the profound tribulation, is divided into 9 stages. Only after passing all 9 can one succeed and truly enter the void tribulation realm. Even someone as powerful as the Palm Sovereign has only passed 3 stages of the profound tribulation, lacking the courage to face the 4th. The Blue Dream Tao Sovereign hasn't even passed the 1st stage, remaining stuck at the peak of the late ethereal stage. He isn't afraid of death, but he cannot sever the attachment in his heart. He hasn't completed the final task, and cannot face the regret after a failure. Throughout the history of cultivators in the realm, many gifted individuals have emerged, some even reaching the third step. But until now, there has only been one person who, as a cave mansion cultivator, has passed the 8th stage of the profound tribulation. After passing the final stage, he could claim supreme status. That person is the War Ghost. He failed at the 5th tribulation and was supposed to die, something the Palm Sovereign knows. But what the Palm Sovereign doesn't know is that the War Ghost somehow received a tremendous immortal fortune. This immortal fortune greatly increased his cultivation, enabling him to pass the 8th tribulation, stopping just before the 9th. In the immortal firmament continent, void tribulation cultivation is called the supreme power. This cultivation is at the peak of the 3rd step. If one can take that legendary step, they can transcend the void. The 7 colors immortal venerable is a void tribulation supreme, but his cultivation is not the perfect void tribulation, but the mid-stage. Though only in the mid-stage, his reputation is enough for him to make a name for himself in the immortal firmament continent and establish the 7 Paths sect. Wang Lin knew only bits and pieces of these events. At that moment, his focus was not on them. The moment he opened his eyes, he stood up. His figure appeared unremarkable from a distance, but a vast aura arose from within him. He stood there, as though he supported the very stars. With his back turned to the inner realm, it felt as though the ancient god's protective bracelet shielded him. His eyes revealed a calm expression as Wang Lin took a step forward. With that step, his entire being was upon the already dimmed, dying ceiling formation. The formation trembled, its light flickering, far less than it had been in its prime. In silence, Wang Lin raised his right foot and stamped it down on the ceiling formation. With a loud boom, the formation shook violently. Its light flashed urgently, and vast webs continuously shifted and expanded, eventually spreading endlessly. Across every corner of the realm, the formations appeared with deafening roars. Even the tens of thousands of cultivators within the Luotian star domain, who were recovering at the time, opened their eyes and saw the ceiling formation. With one step, the ceiling formation fully manifested. Only once it was completely revealed could Wang Lin allow the formation, already on the verge of death, to pass through its final moments. You have sealed the realm for countless years. You have stopped the invasion of the outer realm and prevented those from the inner realm from leaving. To the realm, you are the guardian. So, I offer you my bow. Wang Lin clasped his hands and bowed toward the manifested ceiling formation. Yet, at the same time, it is because of your existence that the rare 3rd step experts of the inner realm are suppressed. Your presence has thrown the balance of power between the inner and outer realms completely out of proportion. Your existence has trapped the immortals of our realm, sealed them away. Wang Lin raised his right hand and pressed forcefully against the ceiling formation. With that press, a karma seal was formed. Wang Lin's 5 fingers clenched into a fist, and with a mighty tug, the formation trembled violently, a bolt of thunder rising from within, pulled by Wang Lin. It was a long spear forged of thunder, brimming with immense thunderous power. It was the sacred artifact of the Lightning Thunder clan. With a snap of his fingers, Wang Lin shattered the thunder spear. It exploded into countless bolts of lightning, spreading in all directions, illuminating the surrounding starry sky for millions of miles. This thunder spear, once embedded within the formation, had not been drawn or destroyed for countless years. This was its first extraction and destruction, and with it, the formation would no longer contain such a spirit. As the spear shattered, cracks appeared across the vast web within the ceiling formation. I don't know who created you, but today, you remain, and I will dispel you. I, Wang Lin, shall set a new formation here, one that exists solely for my realm, one that belongs entirely to the cultivators of my realm. Wang Lin raised his right hand again, striking the ceiling formation 6 times in quick succession. Each strike shook the formation, each bringing forth a blast of karma. As his fist tightened and he tugged outward, the ceiling formation immediately began to collapse, the vast, endless web that spanned the entire realm shattering with a deafening roar. Before Wang Lin, the sky turned blood red, enveloping the entire formation in a bloodlight. Cries of agony and furious roars echoed through the heavens. A massive nine-headed meteor hammer appeared, roaring as it swept through the air, exuding an overwhelming, domineering aura. Black blood dripped from it, emanating an endless stench of death, but as it left the ceiling formation, it collapsed, vanishing from Wang Lin's sight. Behind the meteor hammer, a scorching wave surged as a giant flaming catapult war chariot materialized with a thunderous roar. This war chariot, the same formation spirit of the ceiling formation, had claimed the lives of countless cultivators, both from within and beyond the realm. Most of them had been from the inner realm. As this war chariot was drawn out, it exploded into fragments, scattering into mist that quickly dissipated in all directions. After the chariot, golden light surged, forming a golden saber. This golden glow was followed by an overwhelming purple light, which spread through the formation. A massive violet whip, 1,000 feet long, manifested, covered in countless runes, crackling as it twisted like a giant serpent. When the whip appeared, the formation trembled, and an ancient, heavy aura suddenly surged. A massive spiked club emerged, covered in sharp spikes, its terrifying appearance accompanied by the countless vengeful souls wrapped around it, a testament to the bloodshed it had caused in the past. However, at the moment these three formation spirits appeared, they shattered with a thunderous explosion, eternally dissipating into the heavens and earth, vanishing within the ceiling formation. Along with their destruction, another formation spirit, still in the form of mist and not yet fully manifested, also exploded. 7 of the 9 spirits of the ceiling formation were now destroyed. Wang Lin remained calm, staring at the shattered ceiling formation. The collapse was irreversible now, and the resonance of its destruction echoed throughout the realm. At that moment, all cultivators in the realm saw the web of the ceiling formation in the starry sky, collapsing in layers, as the inner and outer realms were no longer. 8 spirit of the ceiling formation, my ancient clan's sacred artifact, the heaven-opening axe, will you return to my Wang Lin's hand, or will you be destroyed with this formation? I give you a choice. Wang Lin raised his right hand and waved it at the ceiling formation. With a deafening rumble and a massive collapse, the 8th spirit of the formation appeared. This spirit's power exceeded that of the previous 7 spirits. This spirit was the supreme artifact of the ancient god clan, the heaven-opening axe. Amid the roaring and the collapse of the ceiling formation, a huge axe phantom, radiating a dense ancient god aura, slowly floated out from within the formation. The booming sound filled the air, continuous and unending. If one closed their eyes, it would feel as though they could sense the boundless slaughter of the heaven-opening axe through the long years. Over countless ages, innumerable souls had perished under its blade. The moment the axe appeared, Wang Lin stood before it, vaguely seeing countless illusory vengeful spirits. These spirits fluctuated and morphed, swirling around the heaven-opening axe. The howls of these spirits, combined with the deafening roars, created the appearance of a bulging mass from a distance. It was as if this axe had summoned the dead souls from the Yellow Springs, an overwhelming aura. Unlike the previous 7 spirits, this axe did not dissipate. Instead, it floated in midair, becoming more solid as though it had gained a will of its own, making a choice. It had to choose, either to recognize Wang Lin as its master, or to destroy itself with the artifact. Time passed slowly. The rumble of the ceiling formation grew louder, and after waiting for about the time it takes to burn a stick of incense, Wang Lin frowned when he saw the heaven-opening axe still floating motionlessly, a calm glint flashing in his eyes. If you do not follow me, then vanish into thin air. Wang Lin raised his right hand and directly struck down on the heaven-opening axe within the ceiling formation. A deafening roar resounded as the formation collapsed once more. As the formation shattered, the heaven-opening axe trembled and its massive blade spun, heading straight toward Wang Lin. Suddenly, it seemed to break free from the ceiling formation, and as it neared Wang Lin, it abruptly lifted. A terrifying, earth-shaking roar echoed, and the axe came hurtling down toward Wang Lin. This mere ancient god royal artifact dares to harm me. A cold glint flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He took a step forward, and his figure blurred for an instant, swelling up to an immense size. In a flash, he transformed into the ancient god true form. Standing at a height of 1,000 zhong, like a giant towering in the starry sky, Wang Lin stood firm on the ceiling formation. As the heaven-opening axe howled toward him, Wang Lin raised his right hand and struck with a powerful punch toward the axe. The tremendous impact reverberated across the starry sky, shaking the ceiling formation into layers of collapse. The large nets of the formation shattered, and even the heaven-opening axe was unable to strike down. Instead, it was knocked back with a resounding crash, sent spinning upward by the immense force from Wang Lin's fist. But Wang Lin did not escape unharmed. He stumbled back several hundred zhong, and his right hand, which had been clenched into a fist, showed a massive gash deep enough to reveal the bone beneath. Even the bone was shattered. The heaven-opening axe was truly powerful. As Wang Lin retreated, his eyes flashed with a sharp light. His right hand, rapidly healing from the injury, reached into the void. Suddenly, blood light erupted, and the blood sword appeared in his hand. With a flick of his wrist, the sword whistled, growing to 100 zhong in length. The blood light surged, enveloping everything in sight. Holding the blood sword, Wang Lin's body flickered as he dashed forward. He raised the sword high and struck downward with a single, fierce blow. The sword's aura howled as the blood-red light shot forward, heading straight for the heaven-opening axe. Both of these were indestructible treasures. When they collided, a series of thunderous roars exploded. The two weapons clashed relentlessly, but the heaven-opening axe was still at a disadvantage. It lacked a wielder and moved on its own, controlled only by the spirit of the weapon. After a few moments, it began to retreat with each clash, and sword marks appeared on its blade. The light emanating from it flickered and dimmed. One last choice. Recognize me as your master. Wang Lin struck again, his voice low as he spoke. With a loud crash, the axe spun and flew back, leaving a massive crack in the starry sky. The blood sword in Wang Lin's right hand vanished in a flash. At the same time, he moved forward, stepping toward the heaven-opening axe. As the axe soared from the crack, the ancient god power within it surged, but Wang Lin grabbed the handle of the axe with a firm grip. No matter how the axe struggled, it could not escape from Wang Lin's grasp. But just as this happened, a phantom of an ancient god emerged from the axe, roaring in fury. The phantom's appearance was unclear, but its howling wind surged toward from a distance. This scene was vividly clear. The illusory shadow on the axe, with the axe as its base, stretched up to thousands of feet in height, enormous beyond measure. It tapered into a cone shape, growing larger as it ascended, resembling smoke emanating from a chimney. At high altitudes, it expanded many times over. This blurry figure was none other than the spirit of the Pangu axe. It bent forward, arms outstretched, and with each howl and growl, it pounced toward Wang Lin below. Before it, Wang Lin's body, towering 1,000 feet, appeared like the difference between a youth and a grown man, seemingly unable to resist. But Wang Lin's eyes widened, and with a mighty roar, he shouted at the approaching illusory figure. "How dare you? I am of the royal god clan, a true immortal of the Tao ancient inheritance. If you wish to devour me, you are courting death." With that roar, the ancient godhead behind Wang Lin materialized, its mouth wide open, and it joined in the roar alongside Wang Lin. It was as though a hurricane had swept through the starry sky, slamming into the illusory shadow of the Pangu axe. The shadow immediately let out a terrible scream. Its form trembled in fear, retreating rapidly, disintegrating into pieces, but then it reformed once again. After reforming, the figure trembled, struggling, and then bowed in salute toward Wang Lin with clasped fists. Its body contracted rapidly and finally melded into the Pangu axe, vanishing from sight. The Pangu axe ceased its struggle and gradually settled into stillness. Wang Lin, holding the axe, bit his tongue and spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, which transformed into a blood-red seal that swiftly landed on the axe's body. The mark flashed, merging into the axe and disappearing. Looking at the subdued Pangu axe in his hand, Wang Lin knew that this time, he had completely subdued it with his own power. He remembered that back then, with his cultivation, he had been incapable of achieving this. It had only been with the help of the previous Sealing Venerable that he had barely been able to control the axe. With the giant axe in hand, his white hair fluttering in the wind, Wang Lin now bore a striking resemblance to the statue on Vermilion Bird Star, with barely any difference. He waved his right hand, and the Pangu axe transformed into specks of light, directly merging into the center of his forehead, disappearing from view. Looking down at the collapsing sealed realm grand array below, Wang Lin's eyes gleamed with a strange light. The array contained 9 spirits, with the last one being the strongest. It was through this spirit that the Sealing Venerable had once controlled the array. However, after a gap appeared in the array back then, and with the series of events that followed, the Sealing Venerable's soul had perished, causing the final spirit of the array to lose much of its vitality. The near death of the array was closely related to these events. Raising his right hand, his fingers forming a palm, Wang Lin cast the final karmic seal onto the sealed realm grand array. As the seal landed, it merged into his palm, and, with a flick of his hand, he closed his fist tightly. The array, which had been collapsing, emitted the loudest sound yet. It seemed to struggle one last time, and from within the array, a shattered jade pendant was forcibly pulled out. The jade pendant had numerous deep cracks, more than 10 in total. One crack, clearly just formed a century ago, was noticeably fresher, lacking the aura of ancient years compared to the others. Despite the cracks, the pendant still bore an engraved character, an immortal symbol. Immortal. As Wang Lin's karmic seal extracted the jade pendant, the sealed realm grand array began its final disintegration, rumbling violently. The net that enveloped the 4 great star domains began to break apart layer by layer. This collapse was total, absolute, and irreversible. As the array fell apart, all the cultivators remaining in the 4 great star domains were struck with awe. They watched as the starry sky seemed to be swept up in a hurricane, followed by an endless roar. The sealed realm grand array, which had confined the realm for countless millennia, was now shattering. Within the Cloud Sea star domain, Mu Bingmei, the woman in pink, and Shizi Feng became 3 long rainbows, merging together and pausing in the starry sky. They were still some distance away from Wang Lin, but they found themselves unable to move forward due to the collapse of the array. Together, they watched as the sky was torn apart by the crumbling net beneath their feet, and the shock they felt resonated deeply within them, turning their faces pale. Wang Lin gazed at the jade pendant. After a moment of silence, he waved his right hand forward. In that instant, the pendant flew completely out of the array. The moment it left, it was as if it had no roots, like a tree without soil or a fish out of water. It exploded with a loud crash, shattering into pieces, turning into dust. With the shattering of the jade pendant, the sealed realm grand array before Wang Lin collapsed with a thunderous roar. In this moment, the Kungsu star domain was no longer surrounded by the array. The Zheohe star domain was completely revealed within the ancient starry sky of the outer realm. In that instant, Luotian and the Cloud Sea were fully liberated. Within the realm and beyond, after countless millennia, there were no longer any barriers. Everything merged as one. The once eternal sealed realm grand array, which had existed in the memories of generations, with the sealed realm grand array no longer in place, the strange force that had blocked the gathering of devotional power within the realm dissipated as well. In that moment, all the powerful beings in the Luotian star domain, including Qing Lin, showed clear signs of excitement. Breaking the sealed realm grand array, Wang Lin had done it. Throughout history, he was the first to achieve such a feat, the first to possess the courage and ambition to shatter this array after obliterating the intruding cultivators from the outer realm. His name was destined to be passed down through the cultivation world for millennia, for he was the Sealing Venerable. Not the Sealing Venerable of the 7 Paths sect, nor the subordinate of the 7 Colors Immortal Venerable, but the Realm Venerable, who would lead the cultivators of the realm out of their cave abodes and shake the immortal aura to its core. As the sealed realm grand array collapsed, the aura from the ancient stars of the outer realm surged in, enveloping all the starry skies within the realm. This aura was unfamiliar, yet strangely familiar. In the past, before the sealed realm grand array had appeared, the inner and outer realms had been one, and this very aura had once permeated the starry skies, inhaled by countless mortals, drawn in by numerous cultivators, and used by a few powerful beings to form their own devotional power realms, to create places where incense worshippers could gather and practice. But with the appearance of the sealed realm Grand Array, this aura was completely drawn out of the realm, leaving not a trace behind. This caused a vicious cycle over the next thousands of years, during which the power within the realm could never compare to that of the outer realms. But today, this long-lost aura returned, like a wanderer who, after being shut out from home, finally saw the door open and returned to their homeland. This strange, yet familiar aura spread across the 4 great star domains. While it may be an exaggeration to say it revived all life, its presence brought hope and new vitality to the realm's cultivators, filling them with dreams and aspirations for the future. Layer after layer of the sealing formation shattered over the course of several hours, collapsing and disintegrating. The booming sounds of its destruction echoed through the starry skies, resounding for hours. As the array broke down, the sound reached the ancient stars, shaking the hearts of the remaining cultivators from the outer realm. Some of the more powerful ones, those rare and powerful beings, flew into the sky, looking towards the direction of the inner realm. They might not have been able to see exactly where it was, but they clearly felt the aura from the ancient stars surging toward that direction, as if to fill the realm completely. In the midst of the shock, it was unclear who first transformed into a rainbow and flew out. Then, many cultivators from the outer realm followed suit, turning into streams of light as they flew toward the inner realm from all corners of the ancient stars. They wanted to witness firsthand how the realm would change after the sealed realm Grand Array had been destroyed. Wang Lin stood in the starry sky, his expression calm. He gazed at the dissipated sealed realm Grand Array and felt the ancient star aura rushing past him. His eyes gleamed brightly. After a long while, he slowly raised both arms and suddenly waved them forward. A voice rang out, echoing through the 4 great star domains and reverberating across the entire starry sky. This voice was like the roar of indestructible thunder, causing a deafening boom, yet all who heard it could clearly understand every word. Today, Wang Lin destroys the sealing array and intends to reform the formation. This formation is nameless. As Wang Lin's words spread, the 3 great origins that had been set into motion behind him, forming the wheel of cosmic operation, roared to life, rising up to stand before him. A humming sound filled the air, and the 3 merged wheels suddenly expanded, rapidly spreading in all directions, growing from hundreds of thousands of feet to millions, even billions, stretching out endlessly. As it expanded, it would replace the old array and become the new formation. The booming sound grew louder, shaking the heavens and the earth, and as it spread, Wang Lin's eyes shone with a strange light. He raised his right hand and pointed to the starry sky. In this century-long war, the magical tools destroyed in the starry skies, and those countless weapon spirits lost in past wars. Today, by my command, I call upon your spirits. Come forth from the void and merge into my formation. Become eternal and indestructible. Wang Lin's voice carried the power of the origin, infused with the wisdom he had gained throughout his life. As his words spread, they transformed into invisible ripples, emanating from him and expanding outwards, passing over the sea of clouds, the Luotian star domain, Kungsu, and Zhao River. As his voice echoed, after the ripples passed, colorful shadows began to form. These were the shapes of swords, knives, and all sorts of magical tools. Each materializing these magical treasures were all severely damaged, their forms dissipated and shattered. However, they still contained spirits, and these spirits, sensing Wang Lin's call, appeared in a strange manner in response to the eternal vow of immortality. After a brief silence, they let out a series of howling cries that shook the heavens. The spirits of the treasures rushed toward the wheel formed by the convergence of the 3 great origins. As they merged, the expanding wheel erupted with a mighty aura of authority, emanating boundless vitality after the fusion of tens of thousands of spirits. The masters of these spiritual treasures were mostly long dead, and the treasures had faded away with them. Yet, within this world, there existed a force of reincarnation. The spirits of these treasures emerged from the cycle of reincarnation, coming from the ancient battlefields scattered across the 4 great star domains. They transformed into streams of galaxies, merging one by one into the wheel. With each integration, the rapidly expanding wheel grew in power, its authority reaching its peak. Destroyed in countless wars, the innocent cultivation stars, you have souls, each with its own unique life, but during these countless years of conflict, you have shattered endlessly. Today, by my name, Wang Lin, I call upon you to merge into my formation. May your star souls live forever. Wang Lin's expression turned sorrowful as he closed his eyes, his voice soft but resolute. The moment his voice echoed out, in the vast and empty starry skies of the 4 great star domains, indistinct, illusory images of cultivation stars began to appear one by one. There were many of these cultivation stars, all long destroyed, yet their souls remained, unwilling to dissipate. At the sound of Wang Lin's voice, they revealed themselves, as if drawn by the promise of eternal life. As the souls of these cultivation stars manifested within the 4 great star domains, dust, meteors, and shattered continents trembled in response. Among the howling winds that filled the 4 great star domains, the dust, meteors, and shattered lands, along with the souls of the cultivation stars, converged from all directions toward the expanding wheel formed by the 3 great origins. Through this continued merging, Wang Lin's wheel, which was formed from his own origin, began to take on a physical form, emitting an immense pressure that surpassed even that of the heavens. As Wang Lin suddenly swept his hands outward, the wheel continued to expand, eventually enveloping the sea of clouds, extending across Luotian, and completely covering Zhao River and Kunshu. Cultivators of the inner realm were overcome with excitement as they gazed at the sky. In the roaring winds, the collapsed ceiling formation was replaced by the re-emerging wheel formation, spreading once again. Before their eyes, the shape of a new formation formed and expanded over the realm, blocking any connection with the outer realm, yet without hindering the aura of the ancient stars outside, standing between the inner and outer realms. This formation was an endless wheel, its existence poised to outlast the ceiling formation. Its arrival marked the beginning of a new era. Those who perished in my realm, countless outer realm cultivators who brought about slaughter, though you are dead, your lingering souls, unable to enter reincarnation, shall atone for your sins. Today, I, Wang Lin, condense your residual souls and bind you as slaves to my wheel of formation for eternity. In life and death, year after year, you shall never be freed. Wang Lin's eyes snapped open, his right hand raised as he performed a hand seal and pressed it toward the starry sky. In that instant, a storm of thunderous force swept across the realm. This storm, a manifestation of Wang Lin's divine power and soul, swept through the 4 great star domains. Only Wang Lin could feel the mournful shrieks that echoed through the realms. In the starry sky, twisted residual souls were forcibly drawn out. Their forms were grotesque, filled with savage hostility. As they struggled, they morphed and howled. Their cries turned into terror as Wang Lin's storm tore through them, pulling their disembodied souls into the wheel. These residual souls, some from those who perished in the 100-Year War, others from ancient battles fought between the inner and outer realms, were all swept into the wheel. The storm howled as it passed over the 3 women, Mu Bingmei and her companions, then swept through the sea of clouds, spreading over Luotan and Zhao River, finally returning to Kunshu. Each of the terrifying residual souls, howling in fear, was trapped and sealed within the wheel formation. Especially in the Sea of Clouds, where the first battle took place, the number of residual souls was even greater. Over 100,000 souls filled the skies, all sealed within the wheel. In the Luotian star domain, the residual souls numbered even more, hundreds of thousands. Amid the silent howls, these residual souls cannot enter reincarnation, nor can they be reborn. They were already dead. What is called a residual soul is actually the resentment that formed before their death. Before they were gathered and shaped as they are now, they were just formless masses of bitterness. Creatures born from such resentment are often vicious and bloodthirsty. Moreover, this resentment greatly affects cultivators, especially those with lower cultivation levels. The so-called inner demons they face often stem from these lingering resentful souls that wander between heaven and earth. As the residual souls of countless outer realm cultivators who died in the wars throughout time gradually merged into the reformed array of the wheel, one by one, these souls appeared. Their bodies fused with the wheel, their arms pushing the enormous mechanism. With the power of over 1 million residual souls, the wheel rumbled as it turned. Each rotation caused the souls to release agonizing howls, as if the weight of their souls was crushing them. Yet the more pain they endured, the greater their strength in turning the wheel. This cycle repeats, life after life. Within the realm, the ancestors who fell in battle, the elders who perished, and my fellow Taoists. Today, Wang Lin has disturbed your heroic soul's eternal rest and awakened you. Will you consent to become the indestructible array spirits of this formation, to become the venerated souls for generations of cultivators in this realm? If you agree, I beseech you. Wang Lin clasped his hands in respect and bowed toward the